Hi, welcome. My name is Christina K. If you are new here, thank you so much for stumbling upon my video. And if you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. We've had so many new subscribers during this quarantine or shelter at place that I thought I would start doing some videos for you guys to get to know me better, and I want to get to know you a little bit better too. So today's gonna be a Pixar ranking. I have been teasing this for a while. I've been working on it for a while because I've been watching all the Pixar movies, rewatching them, reorganizing my order, and I'm going to share that with you today. A couple of things before we start. First, an exciting announcement. The reason why I've kind of been missing for the past 2 weeks, I've been doing a video here and there. It's because I'm now on another radio station. So my full-time job is I am on a radio station here in New York, Walk 97.5. I do afternoons 3 to 7. And now I just got a job doing 10 to 2 beforehand on Star 99.9 in Connecticut. So it's very exciting, but it has been so stressful trying to set up the equipment for that station now here at home too. And you know, everything's at home, so you know, if you're working from home, it's a lot more difficult than if you're in person with people. And then I've had Zoom interviews all of a sudden with celebrities. I'm not complaining, this is all good stuff, but it's just been a lot. So thanks for bearing with me. And then today we have the announcement for Walt Disney World reopening. We will talk about that later in the week, but let's talk Pixar today. 22 movies, including Onward. Let's get into it. Starting with 22, and I think this is last or in the bottom 3 for a lot of people, The Good Dinosaur. It's way too sad. It's not a movie that when I'm scrolling through Disney Plus looking at all of them, that I'm like, oh yeah, I want to click on that. I want to be depressed for a little bit. I don't have an emotional connection to it, and I feel like it is a very forgettable movie. Agree or disagree there? I got my Beauty and the Beast notebook, so I shifted over a little bit so my notebook and my background could be very Beauty and the Beast, plus the ears today, screaming Belle. Number 21, don't get me wrong, I think it is a good film, but it's not one that I want to watch all the time. It's good every once in a while, and then I'm good for a while, and that is Brave. I know there's a lot of diehard Brave fans out there. I am just not one of them. I had such high hopes that it was going to be like right up there with Tangled and A Disney Fairy Tale, but it kind of just misses the mark, you know? It's like missing that one Disney-esque quality. I don't know what it is. Maybe because it is Pixar? I don't know. But it doesn't have the charm of Pixar either, because there's always like that one character that you feel like the most attached to in a Pixar movie, or like the comedic guy, or it's just not a very Pixar feel. I will say the music, not too shabby. I've been singing Touch the Sky a lot, but then also they play that in Happily Ever After, so I wonder if that's why I'm singing it. Number 20 is another movie that you just want to love. You wanted to love when it came out, but missed the mark, and that is Cars 2. I was actually working for Disney when Cars 2 came out, so we had merchandise everywhere. I was so excited, and then I saw it and I was like, it's more of a feel of like a straight to DVD or VHS if you grew up in the 90s like me movie. And I love Mater, don't get me wrong. He's my favorite in Cars. I think he's hysterical. And you could see that Disney really recognized that Larry the Cable Guy was their secret weapon in Cars, so then they made this whole movie out of it, and it wasn't as well executed. And a lot of people compare it to like a Marvel feel for a movie, and I love Marvel movies, but I don't know. He does have some quick lines in it that are great, but it just doesn't have the charm of the first Cars. Maybe it has something to do with there not being in Radiator Springs. I don't know. I will say though, it's one of probably the only movies that are Pixar that I didn't cry in, so it's got that going for it. Cars 3 comes in at number 19. Still doesn't have the charm of the first one. Again, I think it's something about the whole Radiator Springs element to the first Cars movie, but it's not terrible. I don't think Cars 2 is terrible either, but Cars 3 is just a little bit better than Cars 2. Here's my problem with Cars 3 though. My grandfather loved Doc Hudson, and we talk about Doc Hudson all the time, and my grandfather recently passed, and then when Cars 3 came out and then Doc Hudson passes, it was too close to home Disney. I did like the character of Cruz, and was there any characters from Cars 2 that were in Cars 3? See, if you can't remember, that says something, right? I do think it was a good tie-up, like it wrapped up the Cars franchise nicely, but I wasn't like, wow. When you think of like a tie-up, some people think Toy Story 4 was a good conclusion. Some people think Endgame, Avengers Endgame was a tie-up to the Marvel movies. I don't think we feel that about Cars 3. Number 18, okay. I might get some flack for this, I'm sorry. And you know what? the beauty of all this is that we're all entitled to our own opinion. These movies are not going to please everyone. Everyone's going to have a different order, and that's the beauty of this. So my number 18, Toy Story 4. I love the Toy Story movies, but it didn't have a Toy Story feel to it. It was just something was off-putting to me about it. I did enjoy most of it. There are parts though that I really didn't enjoy and I will skip over when watching again, like Gabby Gabby and those freaking mannequins. Vincent. But there were characters and additions to this that I love. Forky has become one of my favorite characters. I thought Ducky and Bunny were great. Didn't really have a lot to do with the storyline and they teased them a lot, but I get it. Duke Kaboom was a great addition, but it was just, there's so many new characters that it didn't focus on the old characters that we love so much in Toy Story. I feel like Rex maybe had like 2 lines, the Potato Heads were barely in it, and those are the Toy Story characters to me. So it didn't have the feel of a Toy Story movie. Every time they go into the antique shop, it gives me such anxiety. I know Gabby Gabby's gonna be there, I know Vincent's gonna be there. I just know something's gonna go wrong in that antique shop. And here's a character that I missed. I really missed Bo Peep. I saw her like 2 weeks before the movie came out in Walt Disney World, and I saw the look was different, and I was like, all right, we're going for a different vibe here. I can get on board with it. I always loved Bo Peep. I was so excited, and then I saw the movie. I'm hoping you've all seen Toy Story 4 by now, so I hope I'm not ruining the ending here, but I did not like how they ended this movie, and it made me resent Bo Peep a little bit. Like, I'm glad they said what happened to her after all these years, because I hate when they just drop a character from a TV show or a movie, and you're invested, you have all these questions, but nah, I didn't like that storyline. Toy Story 3's ending had a song, We Belong Together, and now Toy Story 4, it's like, no, we're going our separate ways. Lies. I'm not okay with this. I'm way too invested in this, can you tell? Number 17, I know is a movie a lot of people love. A lot of people have strong opinions on it, but you know what? There are people who are going to be on my side here. Coco. There was a lot of hype surrounding Coco. I think visually it is beautiful, but I am not as excited about it as everyone else. Is that bad? In all fairness, I have not seen this movie as much as I have seen the other Pixar movies, but it's because I'm like good after a while. Like I don't want to rewatch this one over and over again. I think it's very clever. I think there's probably nothing else like it. But I like stop it at a certain point. I don't have to watch it to the end. It's way too emotional. If you watch it up until like the last 15-20 minutes, it's great. I'm not like crying like a baby. Also, here's my thing, and I've talked about this before on my channel. I don't want to see them replace the Three Caballeros in Mexico with Coco. So every time I watch that, because that's been a rumor for a while, I have a little bit of resentment towards the movie because of that, which is probably, I know that's not fair to the movie, but oh, please don't replace it. Again, I don't dislike any of these movies. The Good Dinosaur I dislike. But the top 21, I don't not like them. I just like other ones more. Number 16 on my list, I know it's low on a lot of people's list, but I grew up with this movie, so I kind of have a connection to it, A Bug's Life. Also, I was talking about those characters, like every Pixar movie kind of has one that you just love, right? And Heimlich is mine in A Bug's Life. He is one of my all-time favorite characters. I think he is hysterical. When they had a Bug's Land in Disneyland, like I get why they no longer have it, but like all the little Heimlich stuff was great, and all like the feeling like you were the size of the bug, very clever. The movie, I don't like always want to watch it, but when I do, I enjoy it. It is one of those movies though where you're not like just focused on the movie. Like I could be doing something and have that on in the background. Does that make sense? I know it's not like the strongest film, but it's got some great moments. Number 15 is the latest one from Disney and Pixar. I'm not going to give any spoilers here. I think it was very good. Now, the more I watch it, it might go higher on my list, but for watching it for the first time, it was very entertaining. I enjoyed it, unlike any other movie I've seen, maybe ever. The cast is amazing. You got Chris Pratt and Tom Holland. I'm a huge Marvel fan, so of course I was going to love them being in it. There's also some like hints of Marvel in that. See if you could pick up the lines with that and like little things in the background. But the whole cast really did an incredible job. I love the characters in it. I love the plot of it. It is very clever and it tugs at the heartstrings the way a Pixar movie does. Have you seen it yet? It's on Disney Plus. You should check it out. Number 14. Okay, so this is funny. It used to be higher on my list, but then when I rewatched it, other ones were just stronger. I still really do love this movie. Finding Dory. It used to be close to my top 10, if not in my top 10, but other ones have kind of beat it lately. I think this is another one with a great cast. Some of the new characters have mixed reviews, but I am a huge Modern Family fan, and I think Ty Burrell and I can't think of his name. Ed O'Neill, there it is. I think they did a great job, and I think their characters were funny. The whole plot of it. Then you have the otters and Gerald. Most people who've seen the movie love Gerald. It was a good continuation of the first one. Sometimes I feel like sequels don't really have their act together, but this is what a sequel, in my opinion, should be. Good continuation, good storyline. It's got the heart. It tugs at the heartstrings. You laugh, you cry. Good Pixar movie. These ones are just a little better. The top 13 here. Number 13 is Toy Story 3. The ending is the worst part of this film. In fact, that's another movie that I have to stop. Both parts of the ending, when they're in the furnace holding hands. Did you see it in theaters? I was with all guys and I was trying to like hold it in, and then I see they're hysterical, so it's like, okay, good. That was terrible. And then when he gives the toys away, like that I could get on board with, because yes, they're not with Andy anymore, but they were still together. Toy Story 4. It's an emotional roller coaster though, Toy Story 3, and I think there are some great parts to this, like the whole addition to Ken. Wonderful. Lotso. A lot of people love Lotso, and I think honestly, even though he threw them in a furnace, I think Gabby Gabby was worse, and she's just not likable, right? Number 12 is probably the most emotional movie on the list. Up. I will be honest, and I'm a big baby here, when I watch it, I have to fast forward through the first like 10 minutes because that But then after that, the movie is so great, and every time I watch it, I forget parts to it. There's so many lovable characters in it. Carl Fredricksen, I mean, that man. And then you've got Kevin and Doug, and there's so many great lines. It has become a huge part of pop culture, like the grape soda. There's so many memorable moments to this movie. It has a lot of heart. I think I said that already, but that's how much heart it has. I would score higher, honestly, if I could watch more of it. For me, I think like a movie to make it to the top 10, I genuinely have to love all of it. Right? That makes sense. But I think it's a fantastic movie. Number 11 is another one that fluctuates a lot on my list. It's been in my top 5, and then other movies came out and it was in the top 10, and it's just missing the top 10 now, and that is Finding Nemo, another classic. There are so many great characters in this film. Crush. Have you seen Finding Nemo the musical in Animal Kingdom? I love what they did with Crush on that. But this movie is so iconic. Ellen DeGeneres, I'm a huge Ellen fan. I think when I found out she was going to be a Disney character, I was like, this could be interesting. And I think she's brilliant in it. I think the whole premise of it, it's another one that's very emotional. I cry like a baby in that, but it's a great film. Number 10 would probably be higher on my list. It's just a little too long for my liking. That is The Incredibles 2. One of my all-time favorite characters is Edna Mode. I adore Edna Mode, and I love that she had more of a role in this film, but again, the movie was just a little too long. Some people said it was predictable. I thoroughly enjoyed it the first time I watched it. When I watched it the other night, I think it's a really fun watch, and what a sequel should be. It picked up right after the first one, because the first one was like, is this a cliffhanger? Are they ending it this way? What's going on? Incredibles 2 answered all of those questions, and Edna, just Edna. Number 9 is a movie I think is so clever, so relatable. That is Inside Out. I'm a huge fan of The Office, and you got quite a few people from The Office in this. The characters are hysterical. The actors who portray them are hysterical. I don't know, there's something visually about the movie too that really appeals to me. Another very emotional film, but I think it's one of those films too that I feel like goes over a lot of kids' heads. It's more for adults. Like when Anger says, "Can I say the curse word now?" That cracks me up. I highly recommend this movie, but bing bong. Number 8, you either love this one or you hate this one. Monsters University, the Monsters Inc. prequel. I don't think this movie gets a lot of love, although I did see today on Instagram the whole like line of Monsters University stuff, which I think it's because of an anniversary, right? Is that what it is being released at Shop Disney and in the parks because they're reopening. And I think it still is a movie that holds up very well today. Is it what a prequel should be? just about. The only thing that I would have liked more about Monsters University is like at the end of it, they were telling the story to Boo, you know? Like she was the only character that really wasn't in it, because even Roz was in it at the end, not for as long as she should have been. She should have gotten a bigger part, but and that would have been clever, right? Or figured out a way to have her in there somehow. Number 7 is a very special film for me, and that is WALL-E. I used to teach at Long Island University. I used to teach broadcasting, and I would play that for my class all the time to show them the importance of sound. So I think if I didn't play it all the time in class, it may be higher on my list, but I just think this film is so wonderful. I love WALL-E, and I love Eve. I love the captain, but also #relatable, we are gonna be all the people getting out of their chairs, all like big and everything, when we come out of quarantine. It's got such a great message though. The ending is wonderful. It makes me laugh. It just, I don't like cry. I get like misty-eyed with it. It's beautiful. Number 6 is a film that really flew under the radar for a while, and now it is getting the love and recognition it deserves. Ratatouille. I love Paris. I have a fascination with Paris, so seeing it in an animated form, visually stunning, but it was just something so cool. Like, I'm gonna go there one day. I'm gonna be with you, Remy. We're gonna be in the kitchen together. I'm not cooking though, but I feel like it was just too underrated. Finally, we're getting a ride for it in Epcot. That's gonna be wonderful, but it's heartfelt and you just like feel a connection, and it's one of those movies where I can't be doing anything else. I'm like so fixated on it. That's rare these days. Every time I watch the film, afterwards I'm like, wow, that was a good movie, right? It's got a lot of highs and lows though. It's a roller coaster ride. We are in the top 5 now, and this top 5 has been my top 5 for a while. It's gonna take a lot to knock these ones down. Number 5 is Cars. I am so fascinated by Radiator Springs. One of the biggest dreams come true was going to Disneyland and going to Cars Land and feeling like you were inside the movie because it's so iconic, and getting to see Flo's and Luigi's. It's, you know, right? It's such a classic film. However, the first time I watched it, we all fell asleep. It was rough the first time. It takes a while to get into this film, but once you get into it, it's worth it. So well thought out too. Most Pixar movies are, but like this one in particular. Number 4, I love a good superhero film, and this one is up there with the best. May even be my first love when it came to superhero films. The Incredibles. I mentioned my love for Edna. I don't have to go on about that, but I also love all the characters in this film. Frozone and the Incredibles themselves. It's got good heart to it. I love the family aspect to it. This movie, every time I watch it, it's another one that I'm like, that's so good. We're in my top 3, and here's the thing about my top 3. I feel like they're all kind of equal. At times, maybe one's a little bit more than the other, but for now, this is the order that they're gonna be in. Number 3 is Monsters, Inc. Disney creates such amazing worlds and universes for their movie. By far, to me, the most clever is Monstropolis. Like, I want to be in Monstropolis. It looks so fun. The characters are so clever and fantastic. Roz, my girl. It's unique. It's heartfelt, it's fun, it's emotional. I mean, I want to go to Harryhausen's, don't you? 2 and 1 fluctuate a lot, but this is my current order. Number 2, Toy Story 1. Number 1, Toy Story 2. Okay, let me explain myself. So, Toy Story is where it all began. I am obsessed with Toy Story. It's been in my life the longest, so it's a little harder for me to let go of that being in the top, but it fluctuates with Toy Story 1 and 2. A lot of people don't like Toy Story 2 because of Jessie. Jessie does not bother me, but what I focus on that is the whole Al's Toy Barn sequence. I mean, with them driving in the Barbie Cadillac little convertible there, and they go down the Barbie aisle, and Mr. Potato Head, like, there's so much cleverness to Toy Story 2. I think this is the perfect example in my eyes of what a sequel should be. But Toy Story 1 is where it all started and has been in our lives the longest, and I am just obsessed with all the characters that it created from the first 2 movies. They introduced a lot in the 3rd and the 4th, and we kind of became like character overdrive, and it wasn't as necessary, but it's so good. And I love a good Star Wars pun, and the whole Zurg thing where he goes, "Buzz, I am your father." Hysterical. That's my childhood right there. Toy Story is like a part of me. Well, I got a lot more passionate and had a lot more to say about that than I thought, but thank you so much for joining me. Again, thank you for the support. If you are new here, I hope you will subscribe before you leave. I have a couple of more of these videos. They're probably gonna be shorter than this though, coming in the near future. I have a few more collection videos on the way, and here's where I want you to chime in. What other collections would you like to see? Someone said magic bands. Let me know if you'd be into seeing that. I know a lot of people want to see the Funkos and the pins. That's gonna be a very long video though. If you want me to do that in parts, let me know. Is that something you'd be interested in? Or if you have another idea of a collection, please let me know. We have done ears, purses, backpacks, spirit jerseys, shoes, mugs. I will link those down below. Thank you so much for watching. Please let me know, aside from what videos you want to see in the future, what your favorite Pixar movies are. I think there is a movie for everyone, and they are some of the best films out there. Thank you so much for watching. By the way, this incredible Pixar shirt, it's so comfy. Oh my goodness, I love this. It's coming on my next Walt Disney World trip with me. I will link that haul down below, and also my haul where I got these ears. Okay, I'm done talking. I've been talking nonstop all day. I am Christina K. Have a Disney day.